to the Dassault Systèmes 3D Experience Forum. I'm Daniel Newman, Principal Analyst at Futurum Research, and I'm very excited about the person I am about to speak with. Simon Hathaway, CMO of Dassault Systèmes. Welcome to the conversation, to the little lounge here at the 3D Experience Forum.
Thank you, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Before I jump in and ask you a bunch of really hard questions, how's the forum going so far?
I think it's great. I mean, I just take the measure of what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing our customers talk about, and what the people, people coming to hear about it, what the press are saying, and it seems really positive. And just looking at Twitter, we're getting quite a lot of feedback on some sound bites, so it's good.
Yeah, I've been tweeting my heart out. Yeah, there's been some great content, and so you're pretty new. Is this your first forum, or?
No, actually, this is about I've been at Dassault Systèmes now for about just nearly 11 months, and we have 12 geographies. So we've had nearly every geography has had a forum so far. So I think it's my 7th.
Hence, this being the North America forum.
Exactly.
I got that right. So you've done a few of these things. So you don't spend a lot of time at home.
No, absolutely. And I'm not sending any photos home from this location because my wife would be very upset.
Actually, I was talking to Andy Calambi earlier in an interview, and I asked him that question. Because last night I sent this really cool image of the pool at night. Did you look over how
absolutely.
it was all? I sent that home to my wife and 3 kids at home.
Okay.
It didn't
land well.
No,
I can see that.
So one of the little different, we've had a lot of conversations about technology and platforms, but you being relatively new, say 7 forums, but only 11 months new to the CMO role. Talk a little bit about how you're seeing the CMO role evolving in recent years.
I think the CMO, it's an interesting position, right? Because there's a lot of people that are questioning the value that marketing brings. But you're also seeing the fact that data particularly is coming into that conversation to empower marketing to make decisions in an interesting way and become more agile. So the CMO is evolving, and it's interesting now to see that title is changing slightly from not simply marketing but also experience, and particularly then looking at data. So it's become a key piece in terms of driving the strategy of organisation, but also moving to ensure there's starting to be a one-to-one relationship with a customer. And that's pretty important because we're in a world now, I mean, we talk about being in the age of experience, right? But actually the economy is probably driven now by expectations. And if you look at it, I mean, how many apps have you downloaded this month?
A handful.
Okay, how many have you still got?
Oh gosh, yeah, hundreds.
Okay, but the point is, if they don't meet your expectations, you get rid of them really quickly.
Either you get rid of them or you have folders full of apps you never use,
exactly, right? Yeah. And so every single time you use something like that, you're resetting expectations. So we've moved on, and the CMO has to understand that level of expectation. And that's what's fascinating for me. I come from a B2C world, and particularly in retail, and you look at the brands like Amazon who've reset our expectations about what shopping should be, and you come into this space and you say, wow, how do I meet that need and bring the reality of the technology that we deliver and make it human for the people who have to buy it?
Yeah, that's such a great analogy, because when we were talking about digital transformation, the experience economy, and that was one of my earlier books, and when I talked about that topic, we said, no longer, if you're in B2B, for instance, is your experience or expectations of an experience set by other B2Bs or your direct competition. Now, if you have a great experience in a local coffee shop with an app that you use, that becomes your expectation across every industry of what your experience should be. Yeah. And CMOs really, for a lot of companies, own that. I mean, I've seen research that says the CMO is the position in a company that's responsible for leading digital transformation. Now, if that's true or not it can be debated, but they do play a big part in it. And
for sure.
So you mentioned data, and I want to ask you a little bit more, go a little deeper before I get to the next question on that. But how should CMOs be thinking about data? Because you still have this big argument kind of going on between data-driven marketing and sort of heart, soul, and brand-driven marketing, which tended to always skew data away or push data out.
And I mean, if you go to that battle, I mean, it's a typical kind of old school argument, right? Who's in charge, the maths men or the art guys? It's like that's the old thing, the old advertising, madmen or math men. That was the quote. I think today, if you haven't got the information, you haven't got the data, you're stuffed. The problem is the expectation, your expectation of your interaction with any company, right, is that it's everywhere because you've got a mobile device. It's instant, you can do everything on one click, and it's personal. right? So everywhere, instant and personal. And if you haven't got a data platform behind that gives you that knowledge, you're in trouble. So, I mean, I come from a retail background where we're constantly looking for a single customer view. All right, so how do you get a data model behind all that which gives you a single customer view? And increasingly importantly in the future, it's not just about the single customer, it's about the human customer view, because we're going to start to see people, move between companies. And in our world, when you've got a CATIA designer, it's pretty likely it's on its LinkedIn profile. So he's going to be moving, or she's going to be moving to another company. And we need to be able to track those people because they'll be decision makers and advocates for us in the future. So owning that data and building that platform for marketing for me is kind of mission critical.
So have a little heart-to-heart with the CMOs out there, and with me, of course.
Right.
So what does Dassault Systems have to offer within its kind of portfolio that can be helpful to someone in a CMO role?
So I think at the moment, if you look at what we're doing, particularly around customer experience with people with their brands like 3DEXPERIENCE, you can see how we can take an engineering model and really then bring it right through to the marketing asset. So that's quite an impressive piece, and there's a whole sort of data and digital management system behind that which we use. I mean, we use it ourselves internally called Picture Book, which enables you to manage the assets that you have there. So that in itself is interesting because it connects from the original data file. In doing that, you can reduce loads of cost. For example, you don't need quite so much photography, which has happened in the past. So that's a kind of an easy way. I think going forward, though, we're going to start to see the platform being used, particularly as we bring in other technologies and APIs, as a complete opportunity for customer experience orchestration. So how you manage every single touch point with your customer, particularly if you build into that the single customer view type data about the companies that you work with and the people that you work with into that platform. So
the 3D experience itself, though, is the platform particularly relevant to the CMO today, or do you see it becoming?
Let me tell you about how I use the platform. I mean, every day I have what I call my CMO dashboard, right? So it pops up, I've got my results which are delivered, so I can see my pipeline generation. Next to that, I have a sentiment analysis from NetVibes, which looks at what the brands are doing around the world. And then I have in Innovia, I have my master planning. So I can sit there and go, okay, here's how I'm performing, here's what the people think about my brands, here's what they're saying in the press, and then here's my master plan of my, what's coming on. So where's my next forum? Okay, I can click here, I can go straight behind that point, understand what the theme of that event will be, who's in charge, and go and talk to them. And if need be, I can speed up things, slow things down, so I've got the agility in the organization that I need to react to a one-to-one relationship with a customer.
So for a company like Dassault Systems, selling to the CMO isn't where you've spent time historically.
Yeah.
But with you being here, with kind of the way you're using it yourself, the story you're telling, isn't there an opportunity? They say that, in a little context, right? The CMOs are really becoming technologists too. Not only are they leading digital transformation, but they're using stacks of technology, oftentimes stuff that IT has nothing to do with and no purchasing involvement in.
Yeah.
Do you see more and more that you guys may either be talking to CMOs as part of the room or maybe as the audience itself?
I think that we will definitely be talking to CMOs as part of the room, but I think the challenge there is really how we connect pieces. So you take we recently sold stuff to Procter & Gamble in terms of their innovation process. Now that's their R&D team, but actually the product innovation, that's directly connected to their marketing. So the two are going to be completely linked, and I don't think we're going to get that. The beautiful thing about the platform is it connects all the elements of the organisation.
Yeah.
All right. So that in itself is the brilliance of it. I mean, we have a spirit in the company is called If We, right? And we if you look at If, it's all about innovation. If you look at We, it's all about connectivity. So connecting the marketeer to all of those different parts of his organisation is absolutely important, I think. So that for me is how we'll see it going. Of course, we don't have a brand that's well known with marketeers, right? But you've only got to look at some of the big holding companies. There's one big French holding company, for example, who's just pulled out of probably the largest marketing event in the world because they want to focus on a platform, right? They're going to spend all their investment this year on a platform. And guess what? We've got another French company sitting right here who's got a platform which is ready to go. So it's an interesting time.
So not only marketing the brand, though, there may be a little bit of opportunity for you in your role to kind of link CMO to CMO, though, and see how investments in platforms because platform thinking is not historically the way marketing and CMOs have thought. But I can't see how they're going to get away much longer without making that part of their process and the way they organize.
And I think the challenge with platforms in general, and it is not just CMOs, but we've had so many innovations in certain points, right? And in marketing, that's been exactly the same. So we've seen innovations in marketing technologies, and we've seen innovation in social listening. We've seen all these different, if you like, stacks of different information. We've not had anybody yet connect them all through a single platform.
Well, if you ask, I was going to say, you ask any marketer, do any of you have one platform where you do it all? And most marketing leaders or people responsible for the marketing, whether it's a CMO or someone else, they're going to say, I have 8 subscriptions, I have 3, licenses, and I'm trying to put it all together.
Yeah.
If 1 or 2 companies can create a web to weave that all, because we don't care, we just care about the experience. Like, it can be 11 things.
Yeah.
I just want to pay one person and I want one dashboard.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's why my starting point in what we're going to do next is really my own dashboard, because I'm looking at that dashboard. I look at it every day and say, is it got all the information that I need? And because that is the simplicity, and you're right, the user experience that the CMO needs.
Very exciting stuff. Simon Hathaway,
thank you
so much for spending a little time with us.
It's been a great pleasure. Cheers.